Let's take a moment to talk about the UK economy today. I'd like to give you a quick update and tell you, believe it or not, if London didn't exist, the UK's economy would essentially be comparable to a third world country. Thank you everyone for following the Left Money Monster channel. If you enjoy this kind of news reporting and in-depth research, you can support the Left Money Monster channel via this QR code. The proceeds will go towards improving the channel, supporting the team members, and motivating me to continue writing content. For those who can't support us, simply watching this video to the end, liking, sharing, and subscribing is already a great encouragement. Thank you. Everyone already knows that England was the first country in the world to enter the Industrial Revolution. That's why it became a nation that was not only wealthy first, but also wealthier than others. It was one of the few countries that could afford to provide generous social welfare for its citizens, allowing them to live comfortably. This eventually gave rise to what we call the English gentry. So being a citizen of England was considered extremely lucky, especially during the time when their economy was booming. Their citizens could be compared to rich kids who've been spoiled since birth. But today, we have to admit that the UK's economy has basically gone broke. You can check out the details in this video. The UK is broke. Today, I'm going to dive even deeper into a part one didn't cover in the previous video, which is about productivity, or the economic activities that used to grow by about 2% each year, but have been flat since 2008 up until now. Why hasn't it increased at all? People have completely lost their motivation to work. Because when productivity or economic activity doesn't increase, and it hasn't increased for 15 years now, various types of income haven't gone up either. Just look at this chart. It shows real disposable income per head, or people's actual income per person after taxes. It used to keep rising, but it stopped in 2008 and has stayed flat ever since. It's been 15 years, and believe it or not, the UK is so badly wounded, so seriously hurt, that there's no easy way to fix it anymore. In fact, if you were to take London out of the equation, the UK's economy would basically be like a third world country. Many people might think, come on, is it really that bad? We're talking about the United Kingdom here. Could it really get that much worse? Yes, it really could get that much worse, because the UK's economy has been hurting for a long time now. And now, believe it or not, the UK has the highest number of homeless people without a roof over their heads, among all developed countries. According to data from Shelter, at least 309,000 people in the UK are homeless, and out of that number, as many as 140,000 are children and young people. The number of homeless people, or those without a home, increases by about 34,000 people each year, which is a 14% rise every single year. This situation is caused by skyrocketing house prices. Home prices in the UK have surged so much that people simply can't afford to pay off their mortgages, can't afford to keep their homes, and can't even afford to pay the rent for the places they used to live in. Believe it or not, house prices in the UK can increase by as much as £2,200, which is about 97,000 baht, in just 1 month. The average house price in the UK used to be £289,042 in June, which in Thai baht that's about 12.7 million baht per house, and it's gone up to £291,268, or about 12.8 million baht per house, an increase of over 100,000 baht. This information is from Califact. According to this chart, house prices in the UK have increased by an average of 0.8% per month, or 2.3% per year. And it's not just the prices of houses for sale that are going up. When house prices rise, rent prices have to go up too, right? So let's look at a case involving a tenant. In this picture, you see Kun Pene. She's someone who once received a notice for a rent increase, and in the end, she and her 3 roommates just couldn't afford to pay. They had to leave the house and move out. This is just the beginning of seeing how the longer you live in England, the more disheartened you become, right? So let's dig back to 2008 to see what happened that caused the UK economy to stall. At that time, the world had just experienced a major economic crisis, the subprime crisis, which was a mortgage debt crisis that originated in the United States. Of course, with the UK being such a close ally, it was hit hard as well. After the subprime crisis ended, the impact on the UK was that British Bank, the National Bank of England, collapsed. But the UK was like, hey, we can't let it collapse. If we let the National Bank go under, the consequences would ripple everywhere. So the British government ended up spending £141 billion to bail out British Bank. But at that moment, the devastation after the crisis meant there was a debt burden of up to £1 trillion. Well, the economy was in ruins and the government was in debt, but it was like, no worries, we can handle it. Our country's economy is really strong. Since they'd already intervened to bail out the bank, they decided to inject even more money into the economy to give it a boost, hoping things wouldn't fall apart completely. With the crisis that severe, the British government injected another £31 billion into the system. But pumping money into the economy requires a solid stimulus plan, right? That was the weakness. At that time, the injection involved reducing VAT and delaying corporate tax increases. So during this period of pumping money into the system, the incomes of poor people did grow faster, but that only lasted from 2008 to 2010, and then the stimulus stopped. It's a shame, really, because back then, the policies were mostly about cutting taxes, handing out money, or just giving people cash directly. There weren't any measures to help the economic structure become self-sustaining. For example, first, there was no increase in the minimum wage. Second, there were no measures to control inflation. Because every time money was injected into the system, it just led to inflation. Third, there were no measures to help with housing. Fourth, there were no policies to stimulate job creation in the system. So poor people who had been struggling before and then received financial aid for 2 years from 2008 to 2010 and saw their incomes rise were left with nothing after that. There were no measures to help them keep earning on their own once the aid stopped. So it ended up not really solving the economic problems, and it didn't motivate people to want to keep working afterward. More importantly, injecting money to stimulate the economy also hurt the UK government's budget. If you look at this, you'll see that the UK government's budget has been in the red since 2008. In 2009, they didn't back down and pumped even more money in. You can see that the government budget deficit just kept getting worse, with a deficit of over 10%. All the way until 2010, you can see that the UK government's budget was deeply in the red. The worst was a negative 10%. That just wasn't sustainable, so they had to stop in 2010. And I have to say, the UK faced a series of challenges, one after another. It started with the 2008 global crisis, the subprime crisis. Then, after they thought they'd fix things by pumping money into the system and settling the bills, it seemed like everything should get better, that the economy wouldn't be in such a crisis anymore. But then they shot themselves in the foot again by facing Brexit. The UK voted to leave the EU, and that decision made the already bad economic situation even worse. It basically brought things right back to where they started. Things were already bad, and then they just got even worse. Because of Brexit, foreign direct investment, or FDI, coming into the UK immediately dropped by 25%. That's a huge loss of investment, and investors were basically screaming because this was a key factor that caused the stock market to plunge. And if you think that losing 25% of FDI, or foreign investment, because of Brexit was already bad, let me tell you, it's like the UK just had a streak of bad luck. First the subprime crisis, then Brexit, and then right after that, COVID-19 hit. When COVID-19 came along, the total foreign direct investment, or FDI, that had already dropped after Brexit ended up falling by 50% in the UK. And it wasn't just foreign direct investment that disappeared. They also had to take on more debt. During COVID, the UK borrowed as much as £280 billion. Every single month, the British government has to pay just the interest alone. With the economy in such bad shape, it's just not sustainable. And when there's a lot of debt and high expenses, what does the government have to do? Cut spending. And the very first expense the government decided to cut was social welfare, of course. Whether it's healthcare funding, education funding, or the money that used to be spent to let people in England live luxuriously and comfortably, those were the first things to be cut. The rights you used to have, well, now that's why the quality of life for the people has declined. Remember at the beginning of the video when I said that England was the first country in the world to have an industrial revolution? They got rich first. They were richer, so they had more money to spend on their people and provide more welfare. That's why people in England were considered lucky, because they had a good quality of life. The government took good care of them, and that's how the so-called English gentleman came to be. But then, one day, when the government wanted to cut the budget, the first thing they cut was social welfare. That's why the quality of life for people in England has declined. And this is something the English people just can't accept. So people in England can be compared to children from wealthy families whose households have now become poorer. Their spirits are wounded, and they lack the motivation and drive to work. You can see this from this chart. This is a chart of all the G7 countries. When the COVID crisis hit, okay, employment rates dropped everywhere. But after COVID, in every country, the number of people returning to work increased, except in England. It's the only country where the number of people returning to work actually decreased. The COVID crisis was already bad, but even after COVID ended, people still didn't want to go back to work, you know? When people don't return to the workforce, the government collects less tax. With less tax revenue, the government has less income. And with less income, there's even less money to pay for welfare programs. This leads to a lower quality of life for people, and people have less money, right? Because if you don't have a job, you can't spend as much. When people spend less, companies and stores also earn less, and then they have less ability to hire workers. This is the downward spiral, the poverty loop that keeps getting worse and worse in the UK. So I went to check. The unemployment numbers in the UK must be really scary, right? But when I looked them up, 4.4%, it's not actually that bad. You could say it's high, but not extreme. But I came across a BBC report that was pretty interesting. So, okay, the unemployment rate, the number of unemployed people, is 4.4%. In terms of people, that's about 1.7 million, right? But the number of people not working is 11 million. That means over 9 million people aren't considered unemployed because they're not looking for work. They're just not working, so they're not classified as unemployed. The government doesn't count this group as unemployed, but calls them economically inactive. So they're not unemployed because they're not looking for a job. They just don't have any impact on the economy and don't generate any economic income. That's why the UK economy today, well, it just doesn't look good. The numbers aren't pretty at all. But it's just that the UK hasn't really declined yet. It's still doing very well. Because in the whole country, there's one city, the capital, London. London alone can do things that account for 50% of the UK's GDP. The Financial Times once reported that if London didn't exist, the quality of life for people in the UK would drop by another 40%. And if you compare it to the states in the United States, which has 50 states, the UK without London would be ranked as low as the 49th out of 50 states, or about the same as the state of Mississippi in the US. Like I said, the reason the UK economy still looks okay today is because it still has London. If it lost London, even just that one city, the UK would basically become a third world country.